last year or so. So Rex Haupt comes in and he's speaking to a classroom. It's full of 5th graders. And he said, how many of you believe in angels? And about a fourth of the kids kind of, raised their hands. And he said, well, I was like most of you who didn't raise your hand. I never thought about angels. I never really gave it a care, so I didn't know how I felt. He said, but one of the executives at ABC approached me and asked if I would do a documentary on angels. And he told me that I had to let him know in a month. And he said, I didn't know if I wanted to do it. I wasn't really interested in it, so I kept putting off the decision. So he would think about it, but never for long. Then he turns to the class and he says, I have a 3-year-old son, and at the time, this son was having nightmares. So my wife and I were very familiar with him coming into our bed, like in the wee hours of the morning, climbing in and sleeping with us. So on this particular night, it was the night before I had to give my decision to ABC about if I was going to produce the show. So I went into a very deep sleep immediately, and he said it was around 3 a.m., and he said that because he looked later to see the clock. But he was lying in the bed, and he felt a tap on his shoulder that was so hard that it startled him awake. So he reached over to automatically lift up his 3-year-old son, but there was no 3-year-old son. There were legs in a flowing, as his eyes went up, flowing white robe, a very tall figure, male, with luminous blue eyes and long flowing blonde hair. And he stared and blinked his eyes to see if he was truly seeing what was real. And it was still there, so he rolled over and he tapped his wife to get her up so she could see. And by the time he did that and turned, there was no one there. So she went back to sleep, but he is laying awake, and he says, I don't know if I dreamed this, I don't know if it was my imagination. And he told the children, I could have dismissed it had I not still felt the pounding on my arm. So he took it to be a sign that he was to produce the show. And he told the producers and the filmmakers the next day he would accept the assignment. Right then, he looks up at my classroom ceiling and he says, by the way, there are thousands and thousands of angels here right now
Wow.
because they love to gather whenever we are talking about them. Just then, on my classroom door, which was locked so that there wouldn't be any interruptions, there is a loud, persistent knock. And it is the guest speaker for next week who has gotten the date and time mixed up. And she is one of my dearest friends, and Marilyn right there is her twin sister. The friend is Carolyn. And Carolyn, so I go to the door and I said, oh, Carolyn, you're here a week early. And she said, oh, gosh. And I said, but wait a minute, Rex Haupt is speaking. Let me see if he will share the floor with you. And she said, I know Rex. So she comes in, he knows her, and he said, yes, come on in. I've pretty much finished what I needed to say. So Carolyn comes in, who has had near-death experience, and she's telling the children how she literally was pronounced dead in the emergency room at the hospital. And she remembers very clearly them saying, we've lost her. In the meantime, she is way above her body, looking down. She can hear everything in every room of every place. She can hear clearly. She can see her physical body that's flat as a doornail. And then she is rushed through some sort of a tunnel as her spirit or soul is leaving. And on the other side is her mother. And her mother died when she was young, 11 years old. And so the mother said to her, "What are you doing here? It's not your time. You have so much left to do on earth." And she felt the mother give her a shove, and she plopped back into her body on the table and opened her eyes, and they said, "What has happened? She's back." She came back with gifts of healing. She came back with the ability of hearing people receive messages from their angels. She came back with seeing energy blocks in the body where illness would manifest if not attended to, or was already in stages of illness. So she talked about her love of angels, and then she looks up at the ceiling. I promise you this is the truth because it's seared in my soul. She said, "There are thousands and thousands of angels here right now because they're so interested when we talk about them." She literally said what the previous speaker said. And whenever 2 people or 3 people do that, it's an affirmation that truth is there. And I remember the hair standing, it is happening right now as I'm reliving it, the hair stood up on my body. And the classroom was transformed into a space that I couldn't believe that I was actually in an elementary school classroom and this was happening. And I wondered to myself then, how will this impact the lives of every child who just experienced this? How will it enhance their lives? So that is one of my very, very most powerful stories that I wanted to share that encapsulates a lot. So I want to open the floor